What is going on, guys? Welcome back to For Misery Gaming to bring you another video today on Desitny Knights. And today, guys, we just had our Arena update reward, so the rankings in Arena has been reset. So if you guys want to check it out here, I was actually farming Special Arena, and I thought, because my game went back, because I play on an iPad, so it went back to sleep after I was recording a video for another game. I thought I did use up all 30 of my keys, but we only used like 3. So I do have some more keys to use, obviously, for Special Arena. But we're going to go over Arena today. So today's the focus is going to be going over Arena, how to team build, things like that. But I got a quick little spoiler. I was gifted today, and finally, the Black Shop and the Black Market Shop. And we finally picked up a lot of goodies. So we were able to get 60 special keys, one of each of the 5-star Ragoons. Those are the 5-star ones. And finally, we got a premium 5-star that was worth picking up, which is Rock Yona, which is the better of the two that was released last week. I couldn't believe that of all the 5-stars that would come out, that the first one to show up for me would be a brand new featured unit. So I was totally hyped for that. We didn't have to pick up the Superior Awakening materials. I pretty much have gone as far as I can with awakening my 5-stars outside of getting more LAMs or evolving another 5-star to a 6-star to get another LAM. So I'm gonna have to wait probably another couple days unless an LAM shows up in one of the shops tomorrow. We'll have to see on that. I don't even have enough gold to buy an LAM right now, so I have to farm a lot of gold because I used a lot of resources getting Yona and all that stuff. And I did 5-star our Julian too that we pulled in the last video. So anyway, that's enough of that. So coolness is going on. Let's go ahead and go over teams though for Arena. So first I'm going to go over my team, and then I'll go over a couple different teams depending on your accounts, what you guys have, of what you guys could potentially use. So like I said, everyone's box is going to be different, so you're not going to have the exact same units unless you're a Mega Whale and you have every unit in the game already. But I'll go over the advantages and disadvantages of certain units. I'm mostly going to focus on 5-stars for Common Arena and a couple 4-stars. So this is my particular team. So I was pretty graced with getting most of the good paper units in the game. So I have Francisca as my leader, Kerr and Adonis, and then Eve as my striker. So why Francisca is the leader? Pretty common sense. She gives defense of 10% to all paper units, and that's massively important for both Adonis and Francisca from their skills. So she is an amazing leader. She also gives a cooldown reduction to herself on one of her skills, hits very, very hard with a defensive stat, and she even gives a defensive barrier as one of her skills as well. Adonis is really, really awesome. He's probably overall like the best unit in the game because of his shield skill, giving a shield of invincibility. Mine gives an 8-second shield and with only a cooldown of 35 seconds, and he has a lot of cooldown reduction with his crests and things like that. So, and even some of his orbs. So his cooldown is very, very fast, and that is insanely helpful in PvP when you are like very close to dying and you're waiting to get that heal off with a support unit, or if you're just trying to get in that last little bit of damage for the W. So he's very, very good. And then his other ability is a break AoE skill equal to 700% of defense and 65% chance to a knockback, and decreases the target's attack by 60% for 1 second. So it debuffs and it knockbacks, and it's based on his defense. So once again, of how important the defense is, and he already has a breakpoint too, 35-second cooldown, and I believe my next skill is going to go to a 30-second cooldown, so the next time I can level him up is going to be really, really good. Tomorrow I'm going to be able to buy another skill Ragoon, so if I can finally beat level 60 on the tower, I may be able to finally get him to level 3, which would be really awesome. And actually, let's go into Francisca's skills one more time. So, like I said, damage in a line equals 650% of her defense, ignores 60% of the target's defense. So that's very useful if I'm going in even like a mirror match team where they have high defense as well. And then also damage equal to 747 / 845, 975 of defense if the allies have 1, 2, or 4 or more buffs. So you have to have buffs for that second part to go off. And then, like I said, this is the other, a barrier. Increases damage dealt by allies by 35% and decreases damage taken by allies by 40% for 12 seconds. So that's a pretty big amount of time. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Unfortunately, it is a very high cooldown ability. So if we go into her skills for that, it is going to go down, let's see, eventually to 38 seconds. So that's a lot more manageable. 38 seconds is pretty good. And then it is going to extend the duration when you get to level 5 to 15 seconds. So that is a very cool ability. That may be the one I want to focus on first with her, to be honest. Kerr, you guys know my love for Kerr. You know it. So Kerr, obviously, you guys can see that massive HP stat of 30,000 HP. Attack stat is significantly high as well. He has a high crit of it looks like 20, almost 30% crit. Actually over 30% crit. So, and then his skills are max broken, so they are AoE of 66% of HP, 45% chance to stun for 3 seconds, and cause bleeding for 12 seconds. Bleeding is probably one of the best status element skills because it nullifies a lot of the movement on the allies and drains their HP. And then stun is another nullifying movement on the enemies as well. And then he has there a triple breakpoint, cooldown of 38 seconds. Here we only have a cooldown of 25 seconds, and it still has a stun ability, removes a buff in 71% of the caster's max HP, and my HP is insanely high, and then there's still a 40% chance to stun, and removes a buff from the target. It is single target though, so you're not going to do as much spread damage in PvP, but it's still a really, really good skill. So he's definitely one of the top units in PvP right now. He may fall off when we get some more units like Jun and Elki and things like that, but he's still really good right now. And then Eve is there. She gives me that 20%. When I fall below 20%, she gives me a little bit of an invincibility shield, so you can buy not with Adonis' shield. You get a lot of defense going on of being invincible. And then she also has a strike skill that gives you more invincibility for 6 seconds, and then immediate HP recovery of 900% of my defense, and that's why she has defense crest on her. She's at almost 2,000 defense, so really, really good support unit, and she is a 4-star, so that's really good. So now let's go into, and I did finish in the top 30 in PvP. I just couldn't climb. I lost 20 ranks overnight on Saturday night, and it wasn't worth the ruby investment of what it would have costed me to climb. So I decided just to take the top 50 slot rewards, which I still made like 7k rubies overall between PvP and the faction boss. So I was happy with that. But let's go into the codex. Let's go to the hero codex and let's go over some of the units that you guys can run. Obviously, we've already touched on Adonis. You also do have here Rock Arcana. Rock Arcana is a pretty cool unit, and you'll see her a lot in the striker position. So her striker skill is immediate HP recovery of 8% of the total HP and 1,120% of the caster's attack power, and creates a shield that makes you invulnerable to debuffs for 15 seconds and increases your crit rate by 60% for 15 seconds. So she does a lot of different things on her strike, which is why she's very, very useful. So I would definitely consider her for sure in your strike position, especially if you have Adonis, because then you are getting her leader strike skill of getting, if you have a lot of rock units, because she does it for, the other Arcana is for the Sylvan faction. So increase the buff of rock heroes by 20% the duration. So that's still pretty cool. So you may want to run her on a team where you have her, probably still Adonis, and then you probably could run like Rock Benito, things like that. You could even run maybe Rock Iona, or Rock Yona rather. She would be probably pretty decent as well on that team. So that's a pretty cool team setup you can do there. And then we have level 2. Is going to be an HP recovery of 7% of the team's HP, 700% of the casting attack power, and then creates a shield, makes you invulnerable to debuffs again. So it's very similar to like her strike skill. And then this is damage equal to the 810% of the attack power and HP recovery of 240% of the caster's attack power upon a critical hit. So I believe that means you do have to crit. So you definitely want to go concentration with her, it seems, if you're going to be using her for the regular unit. But then if you are going to be doing, you probably want to do Vitality here. Oh no, I'm sorry, you want to do Bravery here, I would think, if you are going to be using her as a striker. So that makes her a little awkward, because depending on how you're going to use her, you may have to swap out crests which means for one, you have to farm multiple crests of different elements, and then also pay gold to unequip and re-equip, things like that. So yeah, there's that. But obviously Adonis, we've already covered him. He's amazing. Francisco, we already covered her. So let's go into Scissor Carlota, rather. Probably the most played supporter in PvP. Probably definitely in the top 3 overall. So, and first, let's look at her leader skill. Decreases the cooldown of Scissor heroes by 10%. That's going to be even more useful once Scissor Elke comes, because Scissor Elke is insanely good as well. So she's really good. And then her skill 1 is going to be accelerate all allies skill cooldown by 200% for 10 seconds. So that's why she's crazy good. It's because she just continuously lets you keep supering and supering and supering and supering with your skills. So that's why she's really, really good. Even if you're not using her as a lead, she's still really good for her skill. So even when Elke comes, Elke I believe has like a 20% damage reduction, or 25% damage reduction if I remember correctly from the Asia server. So combining that with her is going to be really good, being able to let Carlota tank more. And then you have a heal, immediate HP recovery equal to 900% of the caster's attack power. If the team's HP is 30% or less, HP recovery equal to 1,100% of the attack power, and 60% chance to remove 1 debuff from all allies. Very, very useful. So she is not going to really be doing damage, but she is going to be doing a major, major support. So that is really, really good. She's definitely a pure support unit. So definitely look to pick her up. She's a pure buffer, as it says in the description, but really, really good unit. Definitely, I wish I had her. I do not have her. I've been not able to pull her. I pulled 3 Rock Carlotas and not the Scissor. She's like the main, her and Yanuka are like the main units I'm still missing. Alright, so now we go on to Benito, which is going to be a pure damage dealer. So he is damage in a line equal to 650% of attack stat, and ignores 30% of target's defense with a 35% chance to increase damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So that gives you basically, you could get a 680% of damage, and he has a very high attack stat. You guys see here, if you guys go all the way up to 60, his base attack stat is 1254. I'll pull up mine just so you guys can see after I'm done looking at his other abilities, just so you guys can see for reference of how powerful he truly is. And then his other ability is a damage in a line of 200% of attack stat, increases attack speed by 30% for 10 seconds, and converts casters' normal attacks into special attacks for 10 seconds, damage equal to 120% of attack, and with special attacks ignores 50% of defense. So he just keeps on amping up more and more damage, more and more damage. So he's like probably the best overall like pure outright fast damage dealer, where he's able to multiple strike you multiple times. So he's definitely really, really good. Like I said, the reason I don't use him is because I don't have a good supporting thing outside of mono paper is like definitely my strong suit. So that's why I tend to go on mono paper. But I use Benito for lots of story objectives. I use him on Carlos Trials for sure. He's really, really good as my first team. So definitely use him, guys, if you guys have him for sure. So if we go to my Benito real fast, you guys can see there his attack stat is at almost 22,000 or 2,200. Which is really, really good. And I haven't really even gone fully orbs into him yet. I've only 12 1 orb, and I don't have the best crest for him for cooldown either, just because I haven't gotten enough grit crests, because I'm prioritizing other units first. So, yeah, that's definitely Benito. Definitely pick him up. Probably the best overall unit on Medina, I would say. Him or Carlota. But if you look at Medina, they're just stacked. They got Paper Fran, they got Scissor, Carlota, and then they have Rock, Benito. So Medina is probably overall right now in the game the best clan. So now we hop over to the Inuit clan. We've already talked about Kerr. We have talked about we haven't talked about Yona yet. So Yona, I don't know if she's necessary in common PvP. I would say she's definitely really, really good in story when you have to run a healer that is rock. I've used her on a lot of objectives already. She's really good in Carlos Trials because all she does is heal. So she creates an HP recovery, 5% of the team HP, and 75% or 47% of caster's HP. And then if you reach 80% or below from the heal, you get a 15% max team create a shield durability of 15% of the max HP for 10 seconds. So it's basically kind of like an invincibility shield. So that's really, really good. And then HP recovery equal to 5% of the team's HP and 10% of max HP for 4 times. Increase defense by 50% for 10 seconds and 60% chance to remove debuffs. So buffer healer all around for sure. Really, really good in the faction PvP. Putting her on, you know, if you have Scissor Eunuch and then you have Paper Kerr and then you got this unit, you just got the wall. Kerr is going to give you those obscene stats. He's going to pump in the damage. Eunuch's leader ability is then going to help prevent damage on top of this unit that's going to be healing and increasing your defense even more. Just that's the dream team when you have the NUA faction PvP. And this was one of the main units I was missing. Still missing Scissor Eunuch as well, but at least we're getting there. Now we're only missing 2 units in the NUA 5-star clan, which is Paper, Yona, which I can get eventually from the Descendant Dungeon, and then it's going to be Scissor Eunuch, which Scissor Eunuch, I got 30 fragments for him, so 70 more to go. Thumbs up. Alright, so then in the last 2 factions, we're going over to Jin. So I would say the only useful unit in Jin is going to be Scissor Shaolin. So here we have Shaolin, AoE damage equal to 650% of attack power and 35% chance to increase the damage target takes by 35% for 12 seconds. It increases damage dealt by allies for 30% for 12 seconds. So massive damage buff. She works really, really well with Benito when you are playing that rush tactic. And I do put them on teams a lot together when it comes to boss objectives and in Carlos trials as well. They work really, really well together. I've liked how they perform. So definitely an amazing unit for that skill 1. And then skill 2, she has a break point of 2. AoE damage equal to 470% of attack power, 25% chance to stun for 2.5 seconds, and then removes a buff from the target, 100% chance to remove the target's shield. So that's really cool that she's able to actually nullify. I believe that even works to nullify Adonis's invincibility shield. If I am wrong about that, if it's only for a defensive shield, let me know in the comment section below, guys. But she is a pretty cool meta counter in PvP, I would say for sure. So she's definitely one of the top units. As far as Zhao Shi, I just don't think he ranks up there high enough, in my opinion. And then Traeger. So we have a couple options. So first, let's go ahead into Rock Julian. So Rock Julian is going to have skill 1, AoE damage, 1300% of attack. Spotlight the target with 6%, 6 seconds with a critical hit. Increased chance to receive critical hit by 15% and increases crit damage by 40%. So I think, does that mean he actually increases his rate to get critted, but then he increases his crit damage by 40%? That's the way it seems. So it's a very glass cannon. And I've heard that's what he is a glass cannon type of unit. So if you're running a rush team, he's still really good just because of his pure raw damage. And then attacks on an additional time upon critical hit. Damage equal to 390% of attack power. So there you go. So that's why it's really, really good, because he gets that extra damage with Phantom Shot. So that's why he's really good. Definitely a glass cannon though. And then single target damage equal to 1000% of attack power. Ignores 60% of defense. And defense ignored. Okay. So no breakpoints. So still a really good unit, really good rush unit. So definitely in there for speed runs, things like that. He's still really good. So it's really solid. Just, you know, depending on how your team structure is, if you're looking more at tank, you probably want to lean on other units to deal damage, maybe like Benito, who's not so glass cannon-y. Then we are going to have Paper Helga. It's a pretty decent unit. She's not, I wouldn't say she's in the top 5 or top 8 even maybe, but she's still good if you're going to rerunning Paper. So AoE damage equal to 820% of attack power and 17% chance to decrease target's crit rate by 50% for 12 seconds. Decrease the damage dealt by the target by 75% for 12 seconds. So a pure debuffer to definitely stall out those units like Benito, like Paper Kerr, and like even Rock Julian. So that's where she is, where she comes in. And it increases damage dealt by allies by 40%. Status activation chance by 40%. So then if you're increasing your status activation, that's like, if you run her with like Paper Kerr, you get like pretty much ensure bleeding and stunning at that point. And then you're also increasing your raw damage. So definitely is out there to assist your allies for sure. And then lastly, we're going to focus on Paper Gunther. So Paper Gunther is going to have damage in a line equal to 80% of attack power, decreases the allies' cooldown by 3 seconds upon crit, and 50% chance to shock for 7.5 seconds. So his shock rate isn't super high like the 3-star dog is, but he's still really good. And his leader skill also increases the crit of Paper by 10%. So if you are using him as like your lead, if you're running more of a rush tactic, he's going to get his cooldown more likely off if you are able to crit. And then his second skill, increased crit rate by 20% and crit damage by 50% for 12 seconds and 80% chance to remove 2 debuffs from the allies. So still a really good unit overall. I would say, like, I'm using him right now in my 5-star only special team and running mono paper and running him as my striker, and I think he works out really well because he does damage in a line equal to 1000% of attack power and then decreases the allies cooldown by 8 seconds upon crit, and then a 20% chance to shock for 12 seconds. So that's still really good. Shocking and then also reducing cooldown is still really good. So anyway, guys, that's been my overall review of team structure. Like I said, lots of different teams you guys can make. Like, there's the mono paper team I'm using. A very popular team combination is also going to be Scissor Carlotta with Rock Benito, and then with Paper Adonis is a really good combination. You could do Scissor Shaolin with Rock Benito and with Scissor Carlotta. Just lots of different things you can do, but those are kind of the top units you guys want to aim for, and then just look at your leader skills and what you're able to proc with, you know, within your 3 units. Like, if you're able to run 3 paper units, running something like Paper Fran and Paper Gunther is going to be a really strong leader ability. If you're running, you know, a lot of scissor units, like if you're going to run Scissor Carlotta and Scissor Shaolin on the same team, then Scissor Carlotta's leader ability is going to be really strong. So just keep that in mind when you guys are team building of what your objective is and what your game plan is of how you're going to get your wins. If you're going to go pure rush, or if you're going to try to tank, or if you're going to be kind of in a hybrid of both, kind of like how I build my team, then that's kind of what you want to go for, guys. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Sorry the video is a little longer than I expected. Didn't expect to take this long, but we will also go over a basically this PvP. I'll probably focus on some 4-star PvP, maybe some 3-star PvP, just because we pretty much went over all the 5-stars in general. So for PvP, so I don't really need to cover a 5-star only PvP that we have for the week. But when we get to factions again, I will re-update and do a faction-only PvP and see how that goes. And as new units release, I will just review the new units that come out and let you guys know how I feel they should be placed on PvP and in PvE. But thank you guys so much. Subscribe down below if you guys are new to the channel. Hit that like button. Comment down below how you guys are doing in PvP and what your team setup is. And if you have any questions about your current setup, please do leave them in the comment section down below, or join our Discord in the comment section down below in the video description. And I am always on Discord, so you guys can always message me on there. It is a lot faster than leaving comments on YouTube. So if you guys are needing like a couple one-on-one advice, I can do that for you guys as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video today, and we'll see you guys in the next Desitny Knights video. Later, guys.